Hey guys, Tom by 601, and today we're taking a look at Belfast. The reason we're doing it as well, she's back up for sale. Now, usually what happens is around the St. Patrick's Day holiday, they offer this once campaign ship up for doubloons, which is a bit odd because it feels like all other campaign ships when they make a return in the form of global XP, but I guess, Wargaming not one to give an opportunity to make a couple of dubs, let them pass that by. Anyways, today we're talking about Belfast. Is it worth picking up? Was it 2-3 years after it came out? Initially, she launched with a campaign when the British light cruisers came to the game. Yeah, that's how long ago she came. It's been a minute, and the world of warships has changed, and in some ways it's left her behind. In some ways she's still stronger forever for it. Now, what do you need to know about Belfast? Well, she's a British light cruiser. She has radar. She has HE, which is incredibly weird for a British light cruiser. And she doesn't have a heel, which, you can see we kind of have all of the slots that would make up your loadout kind of filled out. So that makes sense as to why she doesn't have a heel. The other thing you need to know, no torp. So you do have to play her a bit more standoffish than you usually would. As we begin to pick off this Vanakin right here, and we begin to get radared by the enemy Belfast, who is also out on the high seas. Now, the Belfast we're facing up against is Belfast 43. The old version of this, which is actually a higher tier, which was a campaign ship last year. The original Belfast is, I think, a pretty fun ship, though you do kind of have to get used to her, as thankfully this battleship right there decides to get down Mr. President for us. Her strengths are really in her HE. That's kind of what Belfast gets known for, is the HE. She has a fairly respectable fire chance. So you're kind of in the role of an HE cruiser with smoke. Now, if you're asking yourself, is she worth picking up? That's the weird question, because, I'll be honest, there's not a lot of tier 6 premium cruisers, right? What is her competition if you're looking for a tier 6 premium cruiser? You got Munchen, which I would arguably say a little bit more fun than Belfast. You got Indianapolis, which I think has some of the same trade-offs, right? A radar. I think Indianapolis is a bit more compromised as far as durability goes, but it's much more of a skill game in order to play Indianapolis, as we begin to milk this Flander for all of his health and to try to pick up our second kill. I think Indianapolis is a bit more compromised as far as durability, and it's a little bit tougher to play up at tier 7. And then you have Flint, which I would say not really worth it compared to Belfast. I think Belfast right now kind of falls in the middle as far as potential tier 6 ships that you would consider for premium. And it is a bit weird because right now I feel like the game meta has definitely shifted to playing tier 7s a lot more, just because that's where the money earning potential has gone in this game. Tier 6 still makes a pretty good penny, but I feel like with the lack of now new tier 6s being released, because we haven't seen a new tier 6 premium in how long? It's getting up there. It's showing off that Wargaming don't want to sell a lower tier 6. They want the upper tier ships because they're a bit more expensive in doubloons. And I have a feeling it costs just as much development monies to bring a tier 7 as it does a tier 6. So why not try to make a bit more money? But beyond that. Anyways, right now we're also using that AP. We're gonna try to keep this island between us and the Iowa. That's why we're gonna hold fire right here until we make sure we are all the way around the corner. The strength of Belfast is its guns, is its smoke. You saw right there, we are able to dish out a good portion of damage while we are hiding in the smoke. Mind you, we are running Azurlane Belfast as our commander, who helps us with smoke firing penalty as we get picked up by radar once again. That that enemy Belfast potentially using its last, its all of its radar, which is, you know, an interesting play for him. But I understand he knows there's a destroyer, and he ultimately spent that radar to get our black eliminated, which, you know, good for him. Now, as far as the game goes, I'm going to call it a bit tied at the moment. We have more impressive ships still available, but they have 2 destroyers, which are absolutely very deadly, and we have the cap advantage. So we will have to play this smart, or else we could easily see ourselves losing this match. As we get picked up on sonar here, we're going to go attack back with our sonar. I'll be honest, up to this point, I thought this other Belfast was a regular Belfast, and then I realized, oh crap, it's a Belfast 43. That means he has torpedoes. We need to be on the lookout. Because, like, why is this Belfast coming out perpendicular? It's not a good idea. Oh, because he's launching torpedoes. But he's launching them in the air quotes widespread for the British, which is usually about the narrow spread for everyone else, which means we're easily able to pick up the dodge right here. We're going to continue pumping them full of HE or AP. I don't want to pull out. I want to limit my engagement right now to just this Belfast. I'm worried about the Algier that is facing off against our battleship up there, but I still kind of just want to be careful. And right as we were going to flip to 8 HE, Belfast turns to put down his other set of torpedoes, and for him, that's going to be, well, a death sentence. We don't quite get him on this first one. We see the torpedoes got launched. We'll go ahead, hit full ahead, which will keep us out of there. We pick up the Pitadel as we get it on the kill, blast past those torpedoes, and we are home free. And now this match is looking like there is some potential for us to make a pretty good clean sweep. So enemies have two destroyers, which is still a bit worrying. Thankfully, we do have both of our radars. Our sonar is going on cooldown now, and we have a fairly recent location of Skone, or of one of the destroyers, the Skone. So my plan right now is try to limit the angles that Skone can spot me, and then maybe use the radar. So that's why we're kind of kiting out towards this island over here. I want to, as we push in, limit where Skone could potentially detect us from. That way we have a better idea, because as far as our radar goes, we have like an 8 point something. I'm actually checking it right here. 8.5 kilometer radar, and our detectability is 9.3. So 0.8 kilometers between detectability and our radar. So if we get spotted, we know we can, if we're lucky, we can wait a couple of seconds after we get spotted, pop that radar, and we'll have a fairly good fix on where that enemy destroyer is, which is why we're pushing towards this island, breaking up that line of sight, the possible lines of sight, so that we have a better chance of, when we break out around this island, that there is a direct line of sight. There's a relatively close direct line of sight between us and that destroyer that we knew is in the area. You see, we've gotten spotted. We're waiting just a little bit to try to close a little bit more. Now we pick him up. He's actually right up against that wall right there, which is perfect for us. He's staying within the 0.5 kilometers that we had for him, and our team is just lighting him up. And this is exactly what we wanted, right? We want to knock out this Skone. You know, he made the play of trying to push in for the cap, which I understand. They have to flip that cap in order to win. But unfortunately, we have the radar. He fires his guns, which means he is dead in the water right here. And we are going to go ahead and not quite pick up the kill, unfortunately. Fletcher then pops up over here, and that's fine. For him, what I want is to close off this angle with the rest of the island. So I'm going to start turning left. Now, at this point, I am acutely aware that if he dumped torps towards us, this could get pretty ugly. So I'm going to kind of prepare to make that turn. And right as I was thinking about that, of course, torpedoes bonk us on the nose, taking a pretty good chunk of what we had left. But that's okay. The plan now is kind of slow our way towards this island. Hope that the Fletcher is staying in his smoke. And if he does maintain and stay in his smoke, we can use that sonar to hopefully pick him out. And that's kind of what we're looking for right here. We're waiting for that sonar to come back up. We're creeping towards the smoke. We know he doesn't have his torpedoes, so that if we open fire when he spots us because of smoke fire penalty, we will be good. We pop that sonar, and boom, at 4 kilometers, he pops right back in, and well, we're going to go ahead and just greet him with a massive slap. With a massive slap, picking up the Confederate. 2 salvos, he's down. Beautiful. We've gone ahead and pretty much secured this map. Sadly, just missing out on the Kraken. If we had gotten Skone, we would have picked up the Kraken, but unfortunately, the Kraken just isn't in the cards anymore. I am on the hunt. I'm like, okay, how much health does his last battleship have? Can we figure it out? Let's just go ahead and push around the corner. I don't think our team could possibly lose hard enough for if I go out and die in a blaze of glory with 4,000 health. We should be fine. But as we finish this out, Belfast, still a great ship in this year, still a fun ship. Is it worth the doubloons price? Probably not. No, like, I think there's more fun ships out there if you're really looking for a tier 6 premium cruiser. But at this point, I would say, the tier 6s, as far as where the money making is, it's kind of moved past tier 6. I will say, though, I did have a ton of fun playing tier 6. Mind you, it was a tier 6, tier 7 match, so it's not like we're seeing different ships. We're not playing up against tier 5s. But, it's the game, for, at least for me, it feels kind of like tier 6 has gone slightly by the wayside, which is unfortunate because, there's been a lot of love. There's been a lot of fun spent down in tier 6. And, I think Belfast just isn't my favorite ship to play down at this tier 6. I like something with some torpedoes, and that always tends to catch me out in Belfast. Not this game, but sometimes. But that's just kind of where we are, I think, right now in the meta, in the cycle of this game. But, Belfast, it's there. If you liked what you saw, it's available in the store. Like I said, I don't know if it's 100% actually worth it. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.